vampirin. What's up? This is Cletus. We're partners in crime. I bring him everywhere with me. We're going to see Slipknot in August, aren't we? Check out my shirt, man. It's so cool. The link to my contacts and the t-shirt will be in the description below. Not because I'm getting paid or anything, people just ask me constantly. It's better just to put it down there. So this is a little different from what I usually post, but I know that I'm going to get a million questions about this because every time I take a piercing out, I have a million people coming over to me like, oh my god, why did you take out your piercing? It looked so good. When there's like a million reasons to take out a piercing, and I'm honestly always really sad about it, so having people comment about it after I do it makes me want to cry a little bit. So I figured I will explain it a little bit and then talk a bit about past retired piercings and piercing scars as well, because I have had quite a few piercings. Not on the a lot side, but just a couple. But I just wanted to talk about why I'm getting rid of my snake bites. It's getting close here. I can't really see them because I'm wearing black rings with black lipstick on. I've had this one for 9 years and this one for 8 years. So I've had them for a really long time, and most of the time oral piercings aren't permanent. I did have my tongue pierced. And you can see there's like kind of a scar on the bottom of my tongue. But I had to take that one out because I was experiencing a small amount of gum recession, and as soon as you notice that kind of thing, I think it's a good idea to take out your piercing because you can't grow your gums back. And I know for a fact that it is painful and expensive to get your gums grafted. So I decided that once I started noticing gum recession on my tongue piercing that I would take it out. Anyways, we're not talking about my tongue piercing yet. I have started to experience a little bit of gum recession from my snake bites, which does happen sometimes. I usually wear studs in my lips, which had helped from the problems I was experiencing from having rings in my lips, but over time it just eventually starts to affect some people. I don't know if it happens to everybody, but it's happened to me. So I'll just show you. Some people are so self-conscious about their teeth, and I'm like, whatever, my teeth aren't white, I'm a human. Like, it's what the fuck ever. So you can see on this side, the gum is just a little bit further down. It's not bad, but I don't want it to get bad, so I am going to take them out. And I will have scars, and they will be more prominent than most of my other piercing scars just because I've had my lip rings for so long. So, sadly, at the end of this video, I'll be taking my lip rings out, and that'll be the end of all of my oral piercings. Rip to the snakebite legacy, man. Like, I'm actually really lucky to have had them as long as I have. I'm just grateful for the time I've had with my piercings. Not all of my scars are all that prominent. Some of them are more when I make different facial expressions, but I didn't get any Monroes or anything on my top lip, so they're not super noticeable. So I got my first piercings when I was probably, I have no freaking idea, but I got my lobes pierced just like every other child. And then I have two sisters that are older than me, and they started getting piercings. And all I could get was my earlobe because my mom was all so I got two piercings in my earlobe. I eventually took them out because the bottom one, my plug started getting in the way of it, and the top one just like would be so irritated all the time. Even though I had it for like years and years, it would still get really irritated. I'm pretty sure that's because it was half in my cartilage and half out of my cartilage. It wasn't pierced very well, even though I paid a lot of money for it. Joey says. So after begging and begging and begging my mother, at 14 or 15, I finally got her to agree to getting my eyebrow pierced for some reason. I'm not really sure why she agreed to that piercing of all piercings. She probably should have told me to get my nose pierced like an average 14, 15-year-old, but I got my eyebrow pierced and it's one of my more prominent scars. It really doesn't affect my face all that much, and I kind of like having a little scar there. Most people don't notice it until I point it out though. I had it for, I think I only had it for 3 months and then it started to reject because I was like 14, 15 years old and I was really rough with my friends. So like we would hit each other in the face all the time just like for shits. But that's eventually partially how it met its demise.
You lie to me, I'll wipe up the floor with you worse than anybody else who's ever tackled you.
After my eyebrow piercing got taken out around when I was 15, I was really sad about it, and my mom was like, fine, your other 2 sisters have it, you can get your septum pierced, never wear it out of your nose. But I never wore it in my nose, so like, sorry mom. But I got my septum pierced and that was fucking awesome. I love that. And then I ended up stretching it up. Septum piercing, awesome. Doesn't affect anything. It's so like, such an easy piercing, and it's a really good beginner facial piercing if you ask me. So then I got my snake bites pierced, and then I got my vertical labret pierced, which under my lipstick you can see like a little scar there. So I really loved my vertical labret piercing. It looked really like pleasing with like how even my piercings are, like, or balanced my piercings are, I guess. After I took this one out, I got a lot of like people being like, why did you take your vertical labret out? It looks so good. Like, why would you do that? Like, la la la. And whenever I would say that it was starting to affect my teeth, people would be like, but it doesn't touch your teeth. And I'm like, interesting. I'm not really sure how much time you spend in my mouth, but I'm pretty sure it did touch my teeth. So on some people, your vertical labret won't affect your teeth or anything. It'll be like the perfect piercing. It'll be so awesome. I didn't really have a whole lot of problems with mine, but if I zoom in, you can see my tooth there has a little groove in it, and that is from whenever I would smile, my vertical labret would rub on that one tooth. Like when I do that, it's just how my mouth is. And then, like I said earlier, I had my tongue pierced when I was 18. I moved out for college, and that was when I was like, you know what, I'm fucking doing it. And I loved my tongue piercing. Like, it was seriously one of my favorite piercings. I loved how it looked when I would talk. Like, you could see it in my mouth because I would always wear really bright colored jewelry. Unfortunately, like, a lot of cases it started, like, I didn't play with it very much, but it did start to cause gum recession underneath of my teeth. And you might be able to see it. Let's see. Just one of my teeth started getting affected, and it's I think it's the same tooth that is getting affected by my snake bite, so I do really want to be careful. When I was in my 3rd year of college, my sister paid for me to get my Medusa pierced, and I was so excited because I always wanted to get my Medusa pierced and then stretch it because it looks so good, and I just like love the body modifications, although I don't really have a whole lot of them. Maybe in the future. I had my Medusa for maybe a month, and then while it was healing, I was realizing that it was causing gum damage, so I just decided to take it out. And that is the sad part of piercing sometimes. You have to come to terms with when you need to take them out. The scar from my Medusa, you probably can't even see. It was actually pierced really crooked because I have a really deviated septum. So when it was centered, it looked really crooked. So I don't know, it was just a fucked piercing to begin with.
You're a fool of yourself. Yeah. Sit down.
After I took my Medusa out, I was really sad and feeling empty in the face. So I decided to face my fears, and I finally got a cheek dermal. And for some reason I decided to get it in this side of my face. The side of my face where I have more hair and there's more like pulling going on. Dermals don't usually last forever. I had it for probably about 6 months. It eventually just got really irritated and I just had to get it taken out, which was honestly kind of painful. it was an experience, and I'm glad that I did it. So that's pretty much all of the piercings I've had to take out, but I did have to take this low nostril out once and get it re-pierced so that it could be even, but I don't know if you can see, my bottom nostril piercings are very not even, so I'm probably going to have to get it pierced for a third time or get this one to match that one. So my message to everybody is to listen to your body, and when you have a piercing and it needs to be taken out, take it out. It's time now to remove the lip rings. There's the ball. There's the ring. There's the ball. There's the ring. Ooh, it feels really weird. There's a ghost over there.